14 things you didn't know, hidden loot, bonus damage, and mechanics the game doesn't really tell you straightforward. And if you know all of these, I'll eat my cork head. Number 1, you can short key your potions, instances, and also opals by holding down E, then go for customize. And in these tabs, you can just pull whatever you like down into the wheel, boop, save. And then when you press E, you can just apply them super fast without having to open up your inventory all the time and go in there. Number 2, you can have 200% attack speed. I'm sitting at 93.1%, but that is only attack speed cap 1. There's a great article by Ava that tells you about attack speed cap 2, and that is all the temporary attack speed bonuses. Like the accelerating aspect, which gives you 30% bonus attack speed, or the rapid aspect with another 35%, the Rathmas chosen from the Necromancer with another 55%, or the Frenzied Dead for your skeletons going into attack speed cap 2. In my case, I'm getting tons from my ring and my gloves, but I also have blood attack speed temper on my gear as well. And that blood attack speed temper is not attack speed cap 1, no, it's 2. I'm currently sitting at 160% attack speed, 170 around. Number 3, you can upcycle your runes, and that means I can turn this one, the Sick runes or the Q rune, into whatever I want. This is a rune of invocation. It won't turn into a rune of invocation 2. It could be anything. Let's see, we have 16 Qs, so I'm gonna just transform 2 of them now into a buck and also a cry. Can literally be turned into anything, especially valuable for the magic runes that are useless, that you don't need. For any of the mythic uniques, just turn them into whatever you'd like. Number 4, target farming, specific aspects. Especially in my case, I need an offensive aspect. I need this imprisoned spirit. There's 2 ways to do this. Number 1 would be the Undercity, but for this you will need a tribute, and it's called the Tribute of Radiance. I put this in, it will drop me legendaries and ancestral legendaries, but then I go for the bargain and I'm telling it I want offensive legendaries with offensive aspects, and that will to 90% then drop everything that has offensive aspects, including ancestrals with the max rolled stuff. Fantastic, super good. These tributes only drop if you actually did the tribute quest. So don't forget to knock that one out. It's not called Fields of Hatred, it's called the Undercity. Then you'll get them from the Tree of Whispers, World Bosses, the Hellmaiden, and I do believe I've got one in the pit as well. The second method would be going to your Purveyor of Curiosities, and there's actually a very helpful tool for this as well, because the man can obviously give you anything. But if I'm looking for offensive aspects right now, I would gamble focuses. And there's a very good website called the Aspect and Unique Gambling Tool. In my case, I want to look for Imprisoned Spirit. So Imprisoned Spirit has the highest chance to drop on offhand. 0.73 on gloves, 0.52 on offhand, and the other one is actually worse. And that you can do for every single aspect. I'm looking for Fast Blood as well. That's Fast Blood. And that would be dropping the best on rings. Done. Don't have to roll for amulets. No, I have to roll for rings to actually get it. Number 5, and this one is trivial, but a lot of people forget it. Before you start rolling for something, you're going to put in your item and then you're going to pop this out. You see that eye symbol? Yeah, open it, because it actually does show you what's available. I would like to have core skills. I can have core skills. In this case, I got int, resistance, maximum life. I don't need the resistance anymore, but what can I actually get? Nothing. There is nothing that would help this build in any way, so not useful to roll. Always double check that what you're actually looking for does even exist and you're not just rolling for naught. Especially if you then want to know if your pans, for example, can have one of these skill ranks that you're looking for. Double check. Number 6, bartering. Make sure that all of your mercs are max leveled, because if your mercs are max leveled, I'm gonna hire over here right now, they add more items to the bartering. In this case, a legendary defensive aspect added and another legendary added plus crafting material caches. He puts in another legendary resource aspects and another legendary prism gem fragments and runes. And if you actually go here right now, I can get a salvage material cache. Thank you. Then we're going to refresh the whole thing. Masterwork cache, augment cache for a rune, salvage material cache, refresh the whole thing. Boss summoning materials. Yes. And there's actually another boss summoning materials. Did I just buy the right one? No, I bought the resource. So there would have been boss summoning materials. And then suddenly whippity wobbity bibbity boo, you could just get tons of stuff. Even, yeah, you saw that right, ladies and gentlemen. Out of these caches, out of the utility caches, defensive caches, resource caches, offensive caches, there could be ancestral items dropping out. And this one is almost a max roll on adaptability. I might be able to sell this for billions. Yes, max rolled aspects are so much worth it. I do kind of want it myself, but it would be smarter to keep this and probably sell. That brings us to number 7, trading. Not affiliated with this website. It's diablo.trade. And I got, for example, the aspect of adaptability. So we're going to go for legendary aspects. Adaptability. Mine is at 96%, so 4% of super max. And if we're looking at these here right now, they're trying to sell a 32% one already for $1 billion. And I got the 96% one, as it actually goes from 20 to 100%. This aspect has such a high range. I need to sell that. Number 8, everything can be a whisper, bosses, and so on. Press F, then mark off everything, and only keep Whispers of the Dead. To not miss out on Inferno Hordes, then it would be Grigoire. I should do this, Purify the Seeds of Hatred, as this is super easy. And a general recommendation, always the Harvest nodes. They're my favorite because Harvest goes super quick, as it's just kill some mobs, get the things together, hand it in, 3 elites dead, done. Number 9, don't forget that the Dark Citadel has a vendor. She's located right there next to the Nexus. Talk to her. And the most important thing she actually sells is the Elixir of Tailwind, which gives you movement speed. Yeah, if you're not 200% movement speed yet, that is probably one of the best things to have for whatever content you do, because you actually do move faster. And yes, there is also an instance of Rushing Wind again, so another 30% movement speed plus, just like this, or alternative 5% more damage for you and all nearby players. And if there's stat players nearby, you do even more damage as well. Kind of cool. Lastly, you can get yourself crafting cash. I've actually never checked what is in there, so let's try this out. What does the crafting cache actually have? That's a gear cache? Huh? Okay. And the crafting cache? Oh, damn. Okay, I won't complain. Thank you very much. Okay, so crafting cache, quite useful. I wonder if there is a good chance for ancestrals from these caches. Well, at least 1 in 3. And I guess tons of materials. Also another way to get ancestrals and aspects. While upgrading your glyphs, you can either get +1, +3, or +2. You get +3 if the level difference is 40. This is a level 1 glyph. This is a level 41 pit. So if I would now upgrade this, boom, we're suddenly only getting +2, because that is a 20 and more level difference. So 20 more is +2. If it's 10 levels difference between pit level and glyph, then it's always 100% chance of success. If it's less than that, well, that's a 46 glyph, 41 pit, it's 5% or 0. Actual 0%. Later on, if you have a level 90 glyph, it's always going to be 70 as long as you're equal or higher. So if I want to upgrade the corporal now, I would have to be pit 91 or higher for 70%. It never goes above 70 as soon as the glyph hits level 90. Now let's actually upgrade that one. Now a little bit math, because I see people struggling with lucky hit chance. My Bloodlance has 80% lucky hit chance, and my Decrepify has a 15% chance to reduce my cooldowns. What does that mean? That in 80% of the cases, I will have a 15% chance to reduce my cooldowns. And the way that calculates is, it's the 80% times 0.15%. So the actual chance for this to happen is 12%. 12% on every single hit. If you then use something like the Fist of Fate to tremendously boost your lucky hit chance, that's 106 plus. My Bloodlines would go up to 133%. What the hell? And the calculation stays the same, 133 times 0.15, which brings us to a whopping 20% chance to actually get that cooldown reduction. Keep that in mind. Some of these chances are heinous. Our Blood Surge is at 32% with what you have seen there, which brings this at 32 times 0.15, well, a whopping 4.8%. And without the Fists of Fate, that's 19%. I'm not going to do that calculation because it's sad. Instead of socketing your main stat gems, this is +60 intelligence, there's another thing you might want to consider. How about going to the jeweler and making yourself diamonds, ground diamonds, because they give plus 20 to all stats, and that could be incredibly useful. As in my case, I'm looking to get willpower quite a lot, and also dexterity, on top of the intelligence that I actually need to unlock a lot of my nodes. But these are all dex, willpower, but like, yeah, willpower again, and even more willpower. I do need that quite heavily, which means if I'm lacking, going for intelligence might not be the best choice there. That being said though, intelligence is fantastic as soon as you have an amulet with a percentage on your main stat. And I recommend this for almost every single build. You want a percentage main stat on the amulet, greater affix, as that just, I'm at 34.6% more intelligence. We're going from 1,608. And this is also my all damage. It's an all damage multiplier. It's 201%. If I put on the amulet, we're sitting at 270.5%. That's a whole nother aspect just by getting more main stat. Boom. One final thing, and my favorite one that a lot of people often forget, you can make your character glow nicely. If you go into options, gameplay, and then scroll all the middle down, highlights, player highlights, you can change the color around your character. And I like to adapt this to the skin I'm playing. So I'm playing rather red golden. So I could make my character red, but red actually does look terrible because it just goes a little bit too dark and overshadows the gold. So I'd rather change my player highlight color to something more yellowish, or I guess orangish, to kind of add to the whole vibe of the outfit. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know every single one? Do I have to give this a snack now? I do actually like this cap, so please don't tell me. If you're now looking for an amazing necro build, which is currently in the top 6 worldwide, check it out and have a fantastic good day. Take care.